Okay. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the level 2 Getting Ready to Learn for your counselling course. My name is Claire. I work with Anna Marie to give study skills support for counselling learners. So I'll hopefully be able to help you on your journey from level 2 to level 3 to level 4 if you all decide you want to progress on to level 4. I can help you with anything academic, so writing essays, understanding the essay question, organising your um, time management, all that kind of thing. So that's my role at York Learning. My other job is I work at York St John University as an international programs tutor. So I teach academic skills to international students. So that's my background. That's kind of how I can, how I'm here to help you and what my experience is. So the plan for today is the session will last about 90 minutes. It might run on a bit, it might finish a bit early, it depends how much you all get talking. There'll be a series of activities with breakout rooms and lots of chance to talk. And I do really welcome your contributions. And this is probably the first time you've met each other, so it's nice to get to know each other and talk about your experiences and your motivations for doing level 2 in counselling. Keep your mics on mute if you're in a noisy place. Please have your cameras on if you can, because it is good practice. It's nice to see faces. If you're having technical issues, then that's fine. Just let me know. When you start your course, if you are experiencing technical issues, try and tell the tutor beforehand so they know that they're not just talking to a blank space and there's nowhere there. It's totally fine to eat and drink and things, so don't worry about that. So yeah, please also make sure that your name is on the screen so I can take the register so you guys know each other's names. And also when you start your course, it's good practice to have your name on the screen. So, as I said, the aims of today are to help you get ready to learn, to help you feel ready to start your level 2 course in counselling studies. We're going to be looking at time management skills, we're going to be looking at organisation skills, we'll look a bit at online etiquette, talk about your experiences of learning online. We've all lived through COVID, we're probably very, very used to it by now, but the there can be some differences, especially if you're doing either an online course or a hybrid course. So we'll talk about that. We'll look at our study environments as well, and if there's anything that we need to change or adapt for when we start our courses. And we'll also talk a bit about our learning styles as well, like how do we best learn? Are we a physical learner? Are we a visual learner? And so on. Okay, so Anna Marie may have discussed this with you already, but the requirements of your course, you need to attend the sessions for the full amount of hours per week. Please try and arrive in the Zoom space at least 10 minutes before the session starts. Any earlier than that, and the tutor probably won't be there, but 10 minutes before, so you know that everything works, you know that your microphone works and your camera works, and so on. Be somewhere comfortable and private that's conducive to online learning, and have access to suitable IT equipment. So are you all on laptops? Yeah. Okay, lovely. So some people in the past have logged on using phones. it doesn't really work on a phone. You can't see everything, you can't engage properly. So please try and use a laptop. If you do have any technical issues, York Learning can help you. Have you guys had your Google Classroom session yet? Yeah. Was that just before me? You can unmute yourself, Lindsay. It's all right.
Yeah, it was last week or the week before, I think.
Right, grand. Okay. So you know that
Yeah, can I just say something? Sorry.
yeah.
I was on the session that had to be rescheduled because the connection was so bad at the other end. But I couldn't make the rescheduled session or the other session, so I've been waiting for the recording to be sent out via email, but it hasn't yet, I think. So
Right.
yeah, I asked about it Monday last week, and they said they would send it out by the end of the week, but it still hasn't arrived yet. So
Is that for Google Classroom?
yes.
Right, okay. I think sometimes the recordings do take a bit of time to be processed, but hopefully it'll get sent out
Mhm.
soon. Yeah. But yeah, if you've got any problems, do contact York Learning. Kim Simpson is wonderful. She's very, very approachable and she can help with any sort of technical issues that you're having. Do you guys all feel quite comfortable using Google Classroom now and had a quick chance to navigate? And yeah, okay. Okay, good stuff. So yeah, make sure you've got suitable IT equipment. Make sure you're checking your learning email. Make sure you're checking Google Classroom, so you can access information. You can access materials. You know what that session is going to be about, so you're fully prepared. And make sure that you're completing all the learning tasks that your tutor asks you to do as well. And make sure that you're meeting any submission deadlines. So they're the requirements of the course, and I'm sure your tutor's already mentioned that kind of thing to you, and it's also in the handbook as well. So things like deadlines, things like checking the materials and making sure you've got ample time to do the prep are all things that we'll talk about today in terms of time management and organization skills. So we're going to look at time management first. So I want you to think about what your typical day and what your typical week look like in terms of how much free time you have, what do you have going on? I imagine that you're working. Are you guys working? Yeah, got lives, jobs, children, dogs. Yeah. So you've got other stuff going on. And this is all about balancing your time and managing your time so you've got enough time to devote to this level two. Because you're all here because you want to be. So you need to make sure you're devoting enough time. So I'm going to put you into breakout rooms. And I want you just to have a quick chat with each other, introduce yourselves. You can, have a chat and get to know each other for a little bit. And just talk about what your week looks like. How much time do you have that you can free up? Is there anything maybe that you need to consider or change or do to make time to access the materials, to devote enough time to this course? And then we'll just have a little bit of a chat all together and see what you guys discussed and is there anything that we need to do to change? So I'm going to put you in breakout rooms. I'm going to need 3, I think. Yeah. Okay. So the breakout rooms are opening now. You should be able to join them. Yep, people are going. Lovely. Grand. Lindsay, are you okay? Okay, I think that's everyone back. So, if we can just have a bit of a chat about what you guys talked about. So, room one, that was Bianca, Michelle, and Lindsay, Lyndsey. Would anyone from that group like to just let us know what you talked about in your group?
Yeah, we had a nice chat about our family lives and what's motivated us to join this course, and any reservations we have around, juggling the course with family life. But I think we're all very similar and excited to get cracking, and it was good to talk to them.
Good, good. And what kind of things came up in terms of reservations that you had? Do the reservations outweigh the positives, or do the positives outweigh the reservations?
I'd say the positives outweigh the reservations. It's just mainly the standard of like juggling children and a course and work, and how, can we manage it? But then, we did have a chat, didn't we, between us all about how I think once you kind of reach a certain point, if it's important to you, you make it work, you make it fit within your life, don't you? You prioritize it. So
Absolutely, yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, that's the thing. You're all here because you want to be here. So you need to think about strategies and what your motivation is, and how you can juggle. And we'll look at some things we can do. Room two, Nick, Rosie, and the other Lindsay. Would anyone like to tell us what you guys talked about?
We compared our schedules. We're all in quite different places in terms of how much time we have to be able to give the course, and we just kind of talked about how to kind of make it work and prioritize it, and what we could do differently. Really, I was saying that I do some volunteering and I'd like to really be able to continue doing that. So it's trying to make sure that I can still kind of do that, because I think it would be beneficial for me to do it while doing the course. But I'm also aware that that's taking up some time that I could be devoting to this. So yeah, just juggling, basically. Learning how to juggle, which, I can't do at the moment.
Plate spinning, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, the volunteering, Rosie, is going to be really beneficial for you. And if you can find time to do that, and you can continue that volunteering when and if you start level 3, that'll be really, really good, because level 3, there's no official requirement for you to do any voluntary work in level 3, but if you've already got something that you're doing and you can continue it, it's going to be really, really beneficial for you. So yeah, if you can think about what maybe you need to change or juggle in your existing life, and to continue that, then that'll be really, really good for you. Cool. And then room 3 was Sarah, Will, and Alex.
Yeah, I think we just chatted again what kind of brought us here, and it was nice. There seems to be a consistent thread with people who've had experience from counselling, people who are out doing volunteering and doing good things. And we just acknowledged, or I certainly acknowledged, that I need to book the time out to do the work as well. Whereas I've protected the time for the course, it's also protecting that time to do the work and the learning around that as well.
No, definitely. Yeah. And I think that's it. Yeah. You're booking it, protecting it,
Yeah.
blocking it off. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Kids work, everything, you need to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great. So I think, you've kind of mentioned the juggle, the balance between, your work and your course and your kids and anything else that you've got going on. And I think that blocking time off, booking time off, whatever you want to call it, is a really, really good idea. And a lot of you also mentioned that prioritization as well. So that can be a really, really good thing to do. Prioritize your tasks, give them that number from 1 to 4. If something is really, really urgent, like you've got reading to do for the course and it's the next day, think about giving that number 1. If you're going to clean out the spare room, doesn't need doing right now, can you leave it to the weekend? And you know, a lot of people tend to procrastinate. They'll think, oh, well, I'll clean the spare room out now, then it's done. But then that takes all weekend. They've got no time then to actually do the reading. So depending how your brain works, that can be really, really helpful for you to prioritize those tasks and think about what you have to do. Writing stuff down can help. Well, it's a two-edged sword. For some people, for me, writing stuff down really helps me because I can see exactly what I need to do and I can tick stuff off. For other people, writing it all down would be quite overwhelming. So it depends how you work, how you are as a person, and how your brain works. But writing stuff down can also really help see what you have to do. Don't be afraid to say no. You know, we've talked about you've discussed your motivations for being on this course. If your friend says, oh, do you want to go to the pub Friday night, or do you want to, I don't know, go to the races or something, and you know you've got work to do, don't be afraid to say no. You know, we're all adults. You know, we're not here to make other people feel 100% great. If you've got stuff to do, you know, don't be afraid to say no. And you know, that does get easier, I think, as the older we get, the easier it gets, I think, to say no. You can also do what we call the 4-step strategy. So I'm just going to show you the 4-step strategy. That one there. So the 4-step strategy is, it looks like an upside down triangle. So at the top, you've got your end goal, which is the thing that you want to achieve. So that could be reading for the week ahead. It could be painting the kitchen. It could be something that you've got on your list that you need to do. So that's your end goal. And then from there, you break that end goal down into a weekly plan. So what you're going to do for 5 days to achieve that end goal. So what you're going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You then break that weekly plan down into a daily plan. So on Monday, I'm going to focus on reading a chapter from the book that my tutor has recommended that I read. Or on Monday, I am going to tape all the woodwork, so I'm ready to undercoat the spare room. You then take that daily plan and you break it down even further. So you look at it in hourly chunks. So maybe for the first hour from 9 till 10, you read the introduction of the chapter and you make some notes. And then maybe you go for coffee, you come back, you read your notes, and then you do some more reading. Or maybe from 9 till 10, you sand down the woodwork or something like that. And you break it down and you're giving yourself small, manageable chunks that you can achieve, and it doesn't feel overwhelming. I did this course last week for the level 3s, and somebody mentioned the Pomodoro technique. Has anyone heard of the Pomodoro technique? Yeah, Sarah's nodding. Do you use it, Sarah?
I don't really use it, but I have my brother's a software developer, and he often used it sort of to sort of manage his time properly and make sure he's getting enough breaks and things.
Definitely. Yeah. So it's the same kind of thing. You know, you give yourself maybe half an hour to an hour of doing a task, and then you give yourself a break. Somebody last week was saying that it's good to kind of get like a little dopamine hit, you know, do something you want to do for a few minutes, you know, go get coffee or go for a walk or something. You know, if you're focusing too long on one thing, your focus does go, you get fatigue. And then you're not achieving those tasks effectively. So yeah, Pomodoro technique can help with that. Just going back to that one. Yeah. So does anyone else have any strategies that they do to manage their time? Anyone like to share any things they do to manage, or are you all just kind of winging it and juggling?
I do a little bit. If I tend to at the weekend before I'll look at the week ahead, I'll map it out and just look at where I've already set myself up to fail, or maybe where things need a shuffle, and I'll try and look at it as its entirety. What do I need to achieve next week? do I stand a chance of doing that? Are there a couple of things that I need to drop? Because it's so easy for us to say yes to everything.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, sort of reflecting back on what you kind of set out to achieve, and do you need to make any changes? Yeah, absolutely. That's a really, really good idea. Thanks, Alex. Does anyone else have anything they do to get through daily life?
Another thing I do is like at the end of a day, I'll have a look at what worked, what didn't, and assess and try and learn how to manage things going forward. It doesn't always work. Sometimes you don't have a choice with children, but it just seems to really help me sort of be mindful, and also of like how I'm feeling, like if I'm overtired and I've done too much that day, or I don't know if my hormones are a little bit out of balance, things like that to sort of think about.
Yeah, really good. Yeah. So again, kind of reflecting. I'm sure your tutors will talk to you about that, but obviously, like, reflection's a massive part of counselling. So it's good that you're already employing it in your day-to-day lives as well. And yeah, things can change, and we have to kind of be kind to ourselves. If we're not feeling great, or the kids have been running as ragged, and we do have to accept that. But finding things that work, and everyone's going to be different. Everyone's got different priorities, different work-life balances as well. Cool. Okay, so linked to time management is that organization. They're what we call transferable skills. They tend to go hand in hand. If you've got time management skills, you've normally got organization skills, but that's not 100% always the case. So the last slide was my desk, and it didn't look particularly organized, but I do kind of know where everything is. So I am at home. I'm one of those people that my brain doesn't quiet down if there's mess and there's clutter. So for me, having an organized house is what works for me, and that's the case when I'm working as well. Like, I have to have different notebooks, I have to have files and things like that, just to kind of help my brain quiet down. I don't know if that's the case for other people. Yeah, got a noisy brain. It's just, yeah, I need things to be nice and organized as well. I think my husband goes crazy because I get rid of stuff and move things around, and he doesn't know where things are. But it helps me. So I'm gonna put you back into breakout rooms for a couple of minutes, and I want you to talk about how organized you guys feel that you are. So you can give yourself a number if you want to. So 1 is really unorganized, and 10 is the most organized person in the world. Go back into groups and just have a chat about how you feel about your organizational skills, and is there anything that you need to do to change this? It could be physical things, like, do you need to go out and buy some folders? Do you need to do a digital cleanup so you've got room on your laptop to store your files? Do you need to do a massive shop from Tesco before you start the course so you know there's food in the fridge? It could be anything like that. And also, do you need to ask for help? When you're learning to be counselors, a big part of that is communication. It's being vulnerable. So if you do need support from friends and family, maybe you need to ask for some support from friends or family or your housemates. What do you need to do to make sure that you are fully organized and fully able to commit to level 2 when it starts? So I'm going to put you back into rooms. And they are open now. So just a few minutes to have a chat about how organized you are, and then we'll come back. She's gone. Great. Two more to come back. There we go. Right, grand. Okay, so I won't ask for breakout rooms, but if anyone wants to just kind of contribute, just unmute yourselves, let us know what you discussed. Is there anything that you need to change so you're ready and organized for your course?
I think buy more diaries and more wall planners and put them all over my house. Just have notes everywhere. Just to try and keep everything, separated and organized.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. Yeah. Are you all quite old school when it comes to that? Do you like diaries and planners, or do you all use fancy apps? No? All quite happy to
I
go
like
old
being
school?
able to see it. I think I think having something like up on a wall where I can look at it and it, get a visual of it, and also that anyone else in my house can also see it, because then I don't have to keep reminding them that I will not be here on this day or whatever, that they can actually look at it themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of lists, physical, visual lists, and
yeah, absolutely. I think if it's there and you can see it, if it's on your phone, you just forget sometimes. The calendar thing's interesting. I have a calendar in my kitchen with a column for each person in my family, and on the calendar everything's written down where I am each day, where my son is each day. And my husband doesn't look at it, and he still asks me, and I say it's on the calendar. Oh, I'm not going to look at the calendar. So it's really annoying. But for me, it's there and it helps. But again, do what you need to do. If you use apps, absolutely fine. If you use calendars and notebooks and diaries, do what works for you. Just do what works for you, really. Is there anything else that came out of your discussions? Anything else you guys need to do? No? All feeling quite happy? Yeah? Okay. Cool. Okay. So, just some other things that you can do just to make your lives easier is, think about planning for your day the night before. I'm sure you guys probably do this already. If you've got the gym the next day, you lay out your gym kit, so you actually are going to get up and go to the gym. But make sure everything's organized for your day. If you know it's going to be a busy one, if you've got work and then you've got your level 2 straight after work, make sure everything's organized and there. Get your kids' pack-ups made, get your pack-up made. This is something I fail on, and every night I say I will make my son's pack-up and it will go in the fridge, and I fail every time. And on a morning it's a scrabble to get his sandwiches made. But try and be kind to yourselves and do as much as you can the night before, and that can really help. It can also relieve the stress and relieve the anxiety if you know that everything is sorted for the next day. Check that you've done the reading. The worst thing is going to the session and the tutor starts talking about something and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then you check the reading and you realize there was another bit that you didn't do. So give yourself that time. It's going back to that time management. Check Google Classroom well in advance. If you've got time to check it straight after the session, check it then, because the readings will be there. Make sure that you know exactly where everything is on Google Classroom as well. Make sure that you're familiar with all the different parts of it, where the stream is, where the classwork is, how to message your tutors and so on. Because that can take a lot of time. If you're faffing with technology, that can really take your time up. So just make sure that you're familiar with how Google Classroom works. We've discussed this already, but if you're a list writer, then get your lists out and tick those things off, and that sense of achievement that you get from fulfilling something in your list is a really, really good dopamine high, I always find. So if you like a list, write your lists. Obviously, lists can become their own beasts, and that list can get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it defeats the object of having a list. So do be sensible if you do write lists. I used to have one big list for everything, and now I have a life admin list and I have a work admin list, and I try not to let the two cross over. So I have like a notebook for home and a notebook for work. But sometimes things cross over and then I get overwhelmed. So just make sure that your lists are organized and easy to understand. If you find that you're getting hyper-focused on something and time is running away with you, you could consider setting a timer on your phone, or you could even use like an egg timer if you've got one of those in your kitchen, just so you're not focusing too much on something for too long. This can often be the case when you start writing assignments and the time runs away with you. You spend too long on one segment and you realize you haven't really written anything very useful. Move on. Give yourself a time limit of how long you're going to focus on things. Kind of goes back to the Pomodoro technique a little bit, giving yourself those set times to focus on a task. Again, do what works for you. If you get distracted, turn your phone off or turn it on to silent. Especially this is the case when you're actually doing your course. There's nothing worse than your phone pinging and someone's WhatsApping you, or you're checking because you're expecting an email or something like that. So devote your attention to your tasks, and try to turn your phone off. I'm terrible for that. My phone goes face down so I can't see it. But yeah, do what you need to do there. And the last two, talked about this, you're learning to be counselors. So part of that is being vulnerable. It's being open. It's asking for support if you need it. It sounds like a few of you have already experienced therapy or counseling, so you know what it's like. If you're struggling with organizing and balancing your time, get help from your family, get help from your friends, get help from your housemates. If you've got a task you need to do and there's a deadline looming and your kid needs to go to the dentist, can someone else take them? Can someone else walk your dog? Just be open with your family and with your friends if you do need help organizing things. And check everything's arranged, like childcare, where your kids are, where they're supposed to be, and everything is diarized and as it should be. Is there anything else anyone wants to add to that list of strategies, or are we feeling quite happy and able to juggle everything with our diaries and our planners? Yeah? Okay, good. All righty. So, going to look at study environment a little bit. So I always say that the one on the left is the one that I would love. I'd love a nice tidy desk. I'd like a nice view. I'd like a teapot. But the one on the right is where I am. I'm on my sofa with the washing behind me, and the cat is somewhere. And this is what it's like when I work from home. But I think that's the reality for a lot of people. If you have somewhere where you can devote to level 2, if you've got a dining room table, if you've got a desk in the spare room, or a kitchen table, do that. It's really important that you've got somewhere that is your study space. Somewhere where you can store any library books that you get out, somewhere where you can store your folders. It goes back to that organization. If you know where everything is, if you're not scrabbling around under piles of washing to find things, that can reduce that anxiety and stress as well that can build. Do you guys all have somewhere where you feel that you can focus and you can study for the course? Yeah. Okay, good. It can be, if it's difficult, if the house is really noisy one afternoon, go to the local coffee shop or go to the local library. If you're near one of the Explore libraries, they're really good. Free Wi-Fi, there's cafes. Just find somewhere where you can focus. Going back to that beginning slide when it talked about, I'll just go back. You need somewhere comfortable and you need somewhere private, if at all possible, just so you can focus. Okay. So I won't put you in rooms for this, but do you all feel that your kitchen table or your spare room or whatever it is going to be conducive to learning? You feel that it's a decent place to be? There's no issues? Rosie, you've unmuted yourself. Do you want to say something?
I did, but I'm not sure what to say now. It will be once I have made it less chaotic.
Yes.
I have a room in my house that is perfect for me to do this, but it's been a dumping ground for a really long time. So once I've cleared everything out, it will be perfect.
Good.
Yeah.
So add it to your to-do list and think about when you're going to achieve that and how you can break that down. Yeah, absolutely. Good. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. I would say don't sit like me because I've got no back support and I'm starting to get a bit of a bad back now. So next time I do this, I'll pull the dining room table out and do it at the table. Good stuff. Okay. So we're going to look a bit now at online etiquette. We've all lived through COVID. We've experienced working online. We've experienced learning online, possibly. We've experienced, family Zooms and quizzes and job interviews, possibly as well. I had a fair few job interviews online over COVID, which is interesting. So we're going to look at the etiquette a bit more in a few minutes, but it's just about being polite, isn't it, and respectful. Again, it goes back to having those cameras on, having your mics muted, and again, making sure you're somewhere quiet. We've all seen like the children tape, the cartoons of cats and children taped to walls and things, and signs saying "Mummy's in a meeting, do not disturb" and things like that. So just make sure that you're fully focused on the task in hand. So just going to kind of do this as like an open forum, but are you guys studying fully online, or are you hybrid? Or are you face to face?
Hybrid.
Hybrid?
Hybrid.
Yeah. Okay,
Hybrid.
cool.
Fully online.
Right. Okay. So that's interesting. So just going to open this up to the room. Are there any things that you worried about doing the course either fully online or hybrid? Is there anything that you might think is going to be a con, or are there more pros than cons? So what are you guys thinking?
I think I would have preferred to have had some face-to-face classroom time, but there wasn't a local centre for me to learn at. So York was the closest, but not close enough to travel, unfortunately. So I'm interested to see how it goes, though. I'm sure it'll be fine. I think that the other levels seem to be offered more locally to me, so it'll be an option for me in the future. So that would be good, maybe to do that next time.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So where are you based, Lindsay?
I'm in between Sunderland and Durham.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So it is quite a trek, isn't it, for you to drive in?
Yeah.
Is anyone else hybrid? A few people are hybrid. Yeah. Okay. Are you guys local?
Yeah.
I'm in Otley.
I'm in York. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Harrogate.
Right. Oh, okay. So not like a million miles away. Okay. So yeah, one of the I always try and promote this when I do these online courses. Please don't feel that you're on your own doing this. One of the benefits of doing these sessions is you get to meet each other, you get to chat with each other. Try and get a WhatsApp group going. If it's possible, can you meet up somewhere a bit more central? Do what you can do to support each other. Again, counseling's all about that support, that peer support. So do try and communicate and contact each other, and support each other if you can do, whether you're hybrid or you're fully online. That can be really, really beneficial if you're having any wobbles or anything like that, or I don't know, you just don't understand something that the tutor said, or you can't find a book or anything like that. Just be there for each other, and that can really, really help. Are there any more kind of pros and cons that you feel? Anything that obviously Lindsay said she'd have preferred hybrid, but that's just kind of.
I think the thing is, it's not absolutely out of the question for me to kind of, as I say, if there was a meetup, in addition to the, I could possibly, I'm happy to kind of try and get to meet everybody. It was just the weekly thing. I know I wouldn't have been able to commit to. So I am, as I say, happy to. It would be nice if I could get to kind of have a meetup at some point.
Yeah.
And I'm quite open to that. So
that's good. That's good. Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you. Is there anything else anyone wants to add?
Something I've noticed about my time slot, because I have the evening Tuesday portion, and I've realized that for the physical sessions over at the center at Burnholm, I'm going to have to leave maybe 20 or 15 minutes early in order to catch my bus back. So just to ask, would that cause any kind of problems when it comes to having that final chunk of time shaved off?
You would need to ask your tutor. I'm here in a study skills capacity. I'm not a counselling tutor. I would imagine that it would be okay. People have commitments. People have things they need to do, or places they need to be. And if you miss your bus, you miss your bus. I would ensure that you get any notes that you need from another classmate, maybe. Make sure you're accessing Google Classroom to make sure that you are fully up to speed with everything that happened after you left. And just put in that extra time if you can, Will, so you know that you're not falling behind. But life happens, doesn't it? If we can't get home, we can't get home. But yeah, it's a really good point. Really good point.
Just to pitch in on that point, I reckon as well, like once the course gets going, there might be someone who's able to give you a lift back if it is like a little bit later, if someone lives close enough. So I'm sure that shouldn't be too much of a problem once the course gets rolling.
Yeah, that's a nice idea. Yeah, again, supporting each other, that's really nice. Yeah, I'm sure you should be fine.
Can I just check something, please? When I signed up for the course, when I did the online application, it said, so I'm hybrid, and it was saying that the course would be running 9:30 to 12:30. But then we had a session, was it last week or the week before? And there was a note on it that it doesn't finish till 1. I just want to check which is correct, just so I can be mindful of timings.
Again, I'm not sure. You are best off emailing Anna Marie
Okay.
to ask her. It could be that, you know, sometimes the session might run a bit over. It might not run till 1 sometimes. It will depend on the input in the session. Is that something that you're going to need to sort of manage if that happens?
It should be fine. It's just I just want to be mindful just in case, you know, anything crops up with the children or something like that, and dog walks and things like that. But it should be fine. Just so I know what to expect, so I can plan for it.
That's fine. That's exactly what you need to be doing. Yeah, thinking ahead. Cool. Okay. Anything else about working online? Any wobbles that you've got? Are you all feeling quite happy about working online? Yeah, all good. We're all used to it, I think, by now, aren't we? But again, yeah, it just goes back to, you know, making sure your tech's working, making sure you know how to access Zoom and all that kind of thing. Okay, good stuff. So this is kind of just some do's and don'ts, really. And we've touched on a lot of these already. But yeah, make sure your camera's on and your microphone is muted. Try and stay focused. It can be tricky. You know, we've only had like an hour this morning, and I'm sure some of you are zoning out. You know, you're probably bored of looking at me and hearing me now. And that can happen when you are working or learning online. You get that fatigue from staring at a screen. So the other side of that is when you get a break, take a break. So when your tutor says 15 minutes for a coffee, get up and go get that coffee. Get up and go outside for a few minutes, stretch your legs, go to the toilet. Don't be tempted to check your emails or go on Google Classroom and check something. Do take that physical break because it can help you reconnect, and then you will be focused for the rest of the session. It can also be quite draining for your eyes as well. So do take that physical break. We've kind of discussed this already, but make sure that you're somewhere with no distractions. You don't want you want your child running in wanting a snack halfway through, or your husband coming in, or the washing machine going off, or anything like that. Just make sure you're somewhere that you're comfortable with, and you in your room, Rosie, that you're going to make all nice and organized for your level 2. So just make sure that you're somewhere settled. Make sure you're somewhere with a good internet connection as well. I think mostly, you know, we're all okay now with our Wi-Fi in our houses, but if you're somewhere where you know the Wi-Fi is going to dip in and out, just make sure that that's not going to happen. You know, you don't suddenly want to be kicked off the meeting and then come back and you're not really sure what's going on. So make sure that all your tech issues are sorted out. So this is quite a big one, really. So when the tutor's going through their slides, do try and make notes. It sounds like we all like writing stuff down. We're not really big on using apps, but you know, if you've got a notebook and a pen, wonderful. If you're typing on your laptop, that's fine as well. You know, however you want to make notes is fine, but do that for yourself. You know, the slides that the tutor uses, so just like I'm using today, they're really just to help the flow of the session. They're to help the tutor kind of organize their train of thought and to kind of know what they're going to talk about next. So don't assume that those slides are everything. You know, the tutor might mention something that's really important. They might mention a theory or a person that you should go read about more. So do try and make notes when they're speaking. On PowerPoint, I know that you can print the slides out and you can actually make notes next to the slides. Google Slides, you can probably do something similar. I'm not entirely sure. But if you're the sort of person who likes writing stuff down, who likes annotating, who likes, you know, adding more information to the slides, then try and print things out. Again, you know, organizing your time, making sure you've got time to do that. Can you access a printer? That kind of thing. And just make sure that, you know, you're making sufficient notes. I always find that the actual physical act of writing is how I remember things. And it's why I like calendars and why I like diaries, because if I type something into my phone, I don't remember doing that. But if I look in my notebook and I know I've written something down, it helps me remember. So physically writing stuff really helps me. I don't know if that's the same for you guys, or do you like typing? Yeah, Rosie's nodding, Lindsay shaking her head. You can tell me.
I prefer writing, I think. Yeah, I do.
Just
Old,
goes in.
old-fashioned, but yeah, I do. I like a written list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
same.
Yeah, good. Yeah. It just helps you, doesn't it? It helps you just kind of absorb it a little bit more if it's written down. It's that physical act. Okay, good stuff. And what was next? Yeah, so the other side of that is, we are probably struggling to focus round about now, and that will be the same in your sessions. But try not to zone out. Try not to let others do the work for you. If your camera's off and your mic's off, we don't know if you're there. We're speaking into the void. And that's the same for your classmates as well. When they're speaking, they don't know if you're there or not. And it can be quite disconcerting. And it just then, they're doing the work for you. You're not getting enough out of it if you're not focusing. As we've said, you're here because you want to be here. You're not here. No one's forcing you to be here. It's not like school. So make sure that you are focused and that you're engaging and you're participating. Again, it goes back to that peer support, doesn't it? You're all helping each other to learn, and you're helping each other engage and to succeed. And yeah, I've already mentioned that. Yeah, don't rely on those slides. If there's something that you don't understand on the slide, feel free to highlight that. Feel free to speak to the tutor, but don't take those slides as gospel. They're just there to help the tutor with their session. Okay. Does that all make sense? Is that all quite logical and straightforward? And yeah, okay, good. Okay, so just the last thing I'm just going to show you is just a little bit about different learning styles. So this is something that kind of like comes in and out of fashion with teaching, but it's just really interesting to think about how you are as a learner, like what your learning style is. So you've got your visual learner who learns by seeing. So they learn best by looking at charts or looking at graphs, maybe pictures, maybe PowerPoints. And then you've got your auditory learner who learns by hearing. So maybe an audio book or a podcast is useful for them. Maybe a discussion, maybe a seminar is something that helps them learn. You've then got your read-write learners. So I'm definitely a read-write learner. I have to write things down. I have to read stuff. I don't like being told stuff. I have to look at it for myself and process it for myself. And then you've also got your kinesthetic learners. So they learn by doing. So maybe a kinesthetic learner has lots of post-it notes around the room. Maybe they've got like a big chart on the wall, or something that helps them learn in a very tactile, physical way. So just have a think. Looking at that chart there, what kind of learner do you feel that you are? And can you kind of give an example, maybe? So just give you a minute to look at that, and then if you want to unmute yourself and just tell us what kind of learner you feel that you are, and how maybe your learning style will help you on level 2.
I think I definitely I can't come up with an example directly off the top of my head, but I'm definitely like learn by doing. Like I always really struggled during school and stuff like that because you're not really learning by doing. You're just being told stuff or just having to write stuff down, all of that sort of thing. Whereas like since getting into like the world of working and stuff like that, you're doing your job, and that I've found so much easier, like learning on the job rather than being sat there during a lecture, just sat staring at a screen, like making notes. Definitely like learn by doing.
Okay, cool. And do you think that's going to be beneficial for level 2, like that sort of practical?
Yeah, from my knowledge of the course, I think there will be a few times where we'll have to sort of like break out and sort of practice these skills with each other, which yeah, like I definitely will sort of appreciate and get a lot out of. Is sort of doing that and being able to put skills to the test rather than just like making notes and sort of like writing up essays and stuff like that. And even to be fair, even though like writing up an essay about it would be a lot more like notable to me than like just sat there making like passive notes and stuff like that.
Good. I think that's it, isn't it? It's like that active or passive. Like, how are you as a learner? Are you active or are you passive? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's really going to help. And yeah, there's definitely an element of especially as you progress through the levels, there's an element of role plays and more practical activities that your tutors will want you to do. Obviously in level 3 and level 4, there's the aspect of actually getting out there in a counselling or a helping environment as well, so you are learning by doing there. So yeah, cool. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, I think definitely the deeper I get into the course, the easier I'll find it. Because I imagine that stuff you'll do more the like further into the course you are, certainly with like volunteering and all that stuff in the later years.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Thank you. Anyone else want to contribute? Yes, Will.
I think I'm mainly a reading and writing kind of learner, just because those are the memories that kind of stick in my head the best. But honestly, I think that I enjoy a learning experience the most when all 4 styles of learning are incorporated, just because even with reading or writing, if I do it too long, it just kind of becomes a bit of a blur. And yeah, I don't really remember what it is that is actually going through my head and being put on paper. I have to kind of read back to remind myself what just happened. Yeah, so a diversity of learning experience is what I believe to be the most beneficial experience for any kind of course, I think.
No, I think definitely. I think there needs to be an element of all 4 in there, doesn't there? So you are fully engaged. And yeah, there will, as you know, as we said, Nick, there will be an element of practice. The more you go on with the course as well. And yeah, lots of reading, lots of writing. But yeah, I think if you can draw on the benefits of all the styles as a learner, that can be really beneficial. Anything else anyone wants to say about that? Is anyone a kinesthetic learner? Does anyone like, don't know, bouncing a ball while they're writing an essay or anything like that?
I wouldn't say specifically that that's like how I learn, but I can definitely see that there would be a benefit to that, just for like, I think to help people with focus or with kind of grounding when they're in the middle of learning, to be able to do something physical, because regardless of which one of these kind of learning styles you're using, I think everyone reaches a point where nothing's kind of going in anymore. Like you can get to the point where you're just not able to absorb any more reading or any more listening. So yeah, being able to break things up by doing something physical is definitely, a really useful thing, I think.
Definitely. Yeah. I think that's, yes, Will.
Just related to that, Emma, from another perspective, I tend to, from a neurodivergent reasons, just stimulate textures or noises to kind of help me focus during particularly long tasks. So for like using this meeting as an example, I've been just running my hand over my desk because it's like fine wood grains and that helps me focus. And yeah, so from an outside perspective, when I'm focusing on something that seems to require my full attention, I'm also doing other kind of stuff with like my body or with my hair or with my voice with like vocal stems. So if anyone were to like potentially look at me as I was focusing, it would look a little odd, but I also understand why it kind of looks a little odd.
Yeah. No, that's really, really valid. I had somebody on a course last week who actually emailed me because he felt that because of how he was focusing, and he was knitting, I think at the time, he felt that it was coming across as not focusing, and I hadn't actually noticed, but he wanted to apologize, and I was like, it's absolutely fine, you do what you need to do to focus, and if you do need to do something tactile or physical to focus, absolutely do it, and tutors will be more than aware of the different learning styles and the different needs of the learners. My son's school, a lot of the children have fidget toys that they use in class now, and the teachers just hand them out. The library at York St John has what do they call it? An attention aid trolley, I think it's called, and it's full of fidget toys and timers and things that can help you with your focus. So absolutely do what you need to do, and if you feel happy to divulge that, absolutely fine. If you don't want to divulge it, don't divulge it, and just carry on. But do what you need to do to fully engage with the course and with your classmates and with the materials. Okay, so that is everything I have to say. Is there anything anyone wants to add? Is there anything anyone wants to ask before we finish the session? Any questions, comments? Nope. You all happy? Excited? Yeah. Okay. Grand. Okay. So can you see in the chat that I've added the link to the presentation? Can you see the link?
I can't.
It's not showing me the link. No, I've just opened the chat.
That's interesting.
Sorry.
Huh. I will attempt to do that again then.
I don't know if you know anything about the counselling skills and studies book that we need to have.
Sorry, can you just say that again?
The counselling skills and studies book that we need to have. I ordered that from the CPCAB website about 3 weeks ago.
Right.
And last week they said that they're all out of stock, and my order's on a back order or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so will I be needing that for next week, like the start? I'm just wondering if I should buy it off Amazon instead or something.
It's difficult to say. I would say that if you can get it, so it's one less thing to stress about, then I would recommend it. Has anyone else managed to get the book? Yeah, okay. It might be an idea, Sarah, just to grab it off Amazon, so you've got it. I don't know whether the tutor would start requiring you to use the book from the get-go, but it's good to have it.
So. Yeah.
It's good to have it, and it's good to be familiar with it as well.
All right, I'll get that sorted. Thank you.
All right. Okay. I've put the link in the chat again. Can you see it now? You can. Grand. So this is just the slides I've used today. On the last slide, there is a list of learning outcomes. I don't know if did Kim go through the learning outcomes with you? No. Okay. So the learning outcomes are just kind of what you have kind of benefited from on this session this morning. Can I just ask you just to go to that last slide and choose the number that you feel is most accurate for you, and then just stick that number in the chat for me, if you can do that.
It's not letting me go on it. It's just saying access denied for some reason.
Same for me. It's saying that I had to request access and then saying that it's sent an access request.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. No worries. Okay. What I'll do, I mean, Anna Marie can put these slides on Google Classroom anyway, so they'll be there for you to access. Don't worry too much about it if it's going to be a technical issue. Seems like some people can access it, some people can't, so don't worry about it.
I think it's just showing on your screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking
The
at.
learning outcome.
Can you see it on my screen? Is that okay? Because I didn't know if it's too small or not.
Yeah, I think that's all right for me.
Right. Okay. Grand. If you can see it on the screen, then that's absolutely fine. Great. That's lovely. I think that's everyone, isn't it? Grand. Thank you so much, guys, for doing that. If there's nothing else anyone wants to say, I'm just going to put my email address in the chat. If you want to contact me, you can. And I'm happy to have a chat via Zoom. I work on a Monday and a Tuesday, but I'm happy to have a chat during the week or on an evening, whatever works best for you. Feel free to contact me if you need to. It's best to contact me before you get feedback that tells you you need to contact me, if you get me. Don't wait until your tutor says contact Claire. So just contact me before you need to, and we can talk about anything that you're struggling with. So that is my email address there. That's right. Yeah, lovely. So if there's nothing else anyone wants to say, I'll let you go get a cup of tea. It was lovely meeting you all. Best of luck. And I might speak to some of you at some point. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Goodbye. Bye.